He was born as some would call an Army brat. Two Army parents, Fairbanks, Alaska. The family moved to Texas, to South Carolina. He lived in the Virgin Islands for a while his parents were stationed in Korea, and then went to the Citadel, for those who don't know, military college in South Carolina. So he's seen a few things in his time on this earth, and he joins us now. His name is Andre Roberts.
Andre, welcome to Tim and Sid. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Really appreciate you coming on in these really unique times. I want to get Andre right into it because time here isn't our friend, and we really appreciate you jumping on with us. Tim laid out your history. We kind of know how familiar you are with the military on multiple fronts. Drew Brees yesterday reopened Pandora's box and associated protests of social injustice to disrespecting of all things Americana. You have a perspective, I don't, both from a military standpoint and an NFL standpoint. What was your reaction to what Drew Brees said?
My reaction was pretty much the same as everybody else's. I just think he just doesn't understand by bringing the flag into this conversation what the whole conversation is about. This is obviously not about the flag. It's not about Colin Kaepernick, and it's about what he kneeled for, and that's about the social injustices in this country.
We mentioned your background. Do you believe that gives you a little bit of a different perspective? And I'm not just talking about having a pair of parents who were in the Army, but also all the traveling that you've done in your life. Do you think that gives you a different look and an easier look at how you can see that injustice?
I don't think it gives me an easier look, but I think I do have perspective on what goes on in this country and around the world. And it doesn't only go on in our country. Other countries deal with the same kinds of things. And it's all about, times like this, having a chance to change it. And of course it should have been changed earlier, but there's times like these that kind of bring it to light more and show the country that things do need to change.
Andre Roberts of the Buffalo Bills joining us here on Tim and Sid. Andre, today Drew Brees posted an apology on Instagram, and a few of his own teammates accepted the apology. How did you take that? Did you take that as someone who was apologizing because he was horrified at what his words did to people? Or was he apologizing because he was taking a bleep kicking on ESPN and social media? How did you take that?
I actually didn't see the apology. Just saw what he said. But when people do the wrong thing, they apologize. And I don't know Drew Brees, and you just hope that it comes from the right place, and just leave it at that. Like I said, I don't know him personally, but you just hope. People say the wrong things and do the wrong things, and you hope after they say it or do it, their apology is meant the right way, and they do the right thing following whatever they did wrong.
Here. Andre Roberts is joining us here on Tim and Sid, and you mentioned on your last answer that we work towards change, and one of the things that I've struggled with is that I've always tried to educate myself, and I don't know, I've read the stories of Jackie Robinson. I've read the stories of Muhammad Ali. I even said yesterday that I used to romanticize those stories. We have a picture in our studio of the Cleveland Summit, and people look back at that and realize that we're almost 50. Like these are 50 or so years ago. How do we go about making this time different than the thousands of other times when we've walked down this road together?
I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and we talked about starting from the beginning. I think it starts from our kids. And I was listening to something earlier about there's more there's different races that are understanding this at a younger age. So maybe not the older age because it's more present to them, but at a younger age, people are starting to understand the injustices we have in this country. And I think, our kids is where it starts. We have to start teaching our kids the right ways to think and the right ways to do things. And I also think it has to be a little bit harder. For people to become police officers. I think there has to be a different way of becoming police officers, and it happened in the military as well. It's harder. You can't just get in like you used to be able to get in. It's a little bit harder to get in. You have to have certain requirements, and I think the police force, they're going to have to change that, and it's going to become that way too.
Andre, quickly before we let you go, how many players do you think will kneel in September? Have you contemplated it?
I haven't contemplated it. I'm sure there'll be more players now than ever. I think that's for sure. But I haven't contemplated it. I understand what Colin Kaepernick kneeled for. I'm with him 100% on all the issues, but me personally, I don't feel the need to kneel to appreciate what he kneeled for and what we're all fighting for as black men in this country.
Agreed. Listen, next time that we have you on, can we talk Buffalo Bills football? Because both of us have an idea that you guys are on the verge of something special in Buffalo right now.
I agree with you. I think we're on the verge of something special, and I'm excited about this next season coming in and the future that we have here in Buffalo.
Andre, we really appreciate you taking the time and talking with us, and next time, let's do that, okay?
All right, let's do it.
All right. There
Thanks
is.
for having me, guys.
Take care, Andre.
Of course.